Okay, for all our summer students of 2021, we're going to do a series on finger picking. And one of the finger picking that you'll hear a lot is stuff like that. It's called alternating bass. And even though you respond to the melody that's being played and the other little harmony notes that are added, it all works off this bass. It all works off that bass alternating steadily, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So here's some, and you have to master that to master the style. So here's a few exercises that I made up for you, and they are by definition not exciting because it's just the bass. But I want you to learn how to play that bass steady, and that takes practice. So you're just going to go on the first exercise on the alternating bass sheet here is just going like that on the C chord, then we get to an A minor chord and we go like this, and you get to a G chord and you go just like it says, string 6 to string 4. So C chord, you're going from string 5, alternating between the bass notes that you have on the chord, the notes that you have on the chord, on strings 5 and string 4. And when you go to the A minor, the very same thing, string 5, string 4. And then when we get to the G chord, we're on string 6 and string 4. So that would go 1, and I want you to put your 3 fingers down just on strings 1, 2, and 3. You're not going to use them right now, but I want you to get used to having them down there, not that you're doing some modified type pick motion here that leaves these out. These fingers are going to come into play once you get this down, once you get this bass down, and you want them to feel like all of a sudden, well, now you've got a shift hand position. Now you want the same hand position. So that hand position means that your fingers are down here playing these melody notes. So we're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and to an A minor, 2 and 3 and 4, and count them out to yourself. 1 on a G. Just play that over and over so that you get the feel, and that's steady. You can use a metronome online. Just make sure that you're steady. Tap your foot with it, because that's what I see with students they don't do. You have to be in rhythm with what you're playing. So it has to go along with your foot, goes your natural metronome, and then a metronome that you get online for free. And the second one is we're going to alternate this alternated bass. We're just going to go from a C here to a G, and I want you to check on your sheets with the 4 and 5 chords, 1, 4, and 5 chords, and you'll see that every chord that we're playing here is it's alternating between the 1st and the 5th, or maybe a 3rd. There's a 3rd that we're going to get to in this exercise. We're going to go from a C chord down, same thing, but we're going to go string 5 to string 4, and then you have to move your 3rd finger, your ring finger, up here from string 5 fret 3 to string 6 fret 3. If you check your sheet, you'll see that C on the C chord obviously is the root, and the G, which right above it, is the 5th, a G note in the key of C. So we're going to go from like this. So we have an alternated bass, but it's now using not only the root but also the 5th in this C chord. Then you come to an A chord, and we're going to go string 5, 4, but then up to string 6, which again, that's the 5th of an A in the key of A. And so you're going to have A down here to the E, and then up to another E, and then down to the E again. get to the G chord, and we have no farther strings up here. So you'd have to jump up to what would be a G note or a D note up here, which would be the fifth of a G chord. We don't have that. So we're just gonna go down. We're gonna use this third at string 5 fret 2 and alternate in that fashion, string 6, 4, 5, 4. So that's just an exercise. You're gonna go A chord, G chord, want to get that rhythm down and just get the feel of that in your finger. That your thumb will just do this. You know, if you really get this down, you can put the guitar down for 5 years, which I don't recommend. But if you do, when you pick it up, it's like riding a bike. You'll be able to do that because it just becomes such a part of your playing. And the last thing is now we are going to just start to put this into use, your fingers here, coordinating that with this thumb. And the easiest way to do that is if we just pluck 2 notes together. I'm going to pluck the C at string 5, the root note, always going to be that root note. That's the key part of whatever you're playing. You have the root note, and you're going to have the melody note, which happens to be a C an octave higher down here on string 2, fret 1. So you're going to play this. And that would be 1 and 2 and. Now you lift it up to get that B note on string 2 open, which now makes this a C major 7th that you're playing. So you're going to go, and then I'm going to pluck that string 2 open, the B note with this C again, and it gives this, which is actually a little bit of dissonance, nice dissonance. That B is just 1 note away from the C, so it sounds a little bunched, for want of a better term. And then you're going to put your ring or your pinky down here at string 2, fret 3, which is a D note. Now you're playing a C add 9th chord. So you're now playing. And now you probably have a natural tendency to know that you're going to go down and you're going to play this C note again. So you put all that together. Each time on the first beat we're plucking the melody note that you're hearing now is the melody note. You have this bass in the background, which is really the most important part of the structure. Structure falls down if you don't have that going. But and then we're going to go to the A minor and do that same thing, just like we did before, just alternate on these bass notes between the A at string 5 and the E at string 4. And what happens so often in music, we're just going to mimic that same melody line that we played. So we're going to go. So I just plucked together on the first beat, string 5 open with string 2 fret 1, and then continued 1 and 2 and. Now I'm going to do the same melody. I'm going to lift my finger up on string 2 and make it open. Now we're going to come down here, the same melody line. I'm going to now put my pinky on string 2 fret 3, that D note, which makes this a suspended chord, pretty chord. So you have, and then back to pick up this C note, then that would just repeat. Now, just note that the really important part, which I hope you'll catch on really quick, is the bass. That bass has to be right. If I do this, it's really thin. See, I mean, there's really nothing there. What gives it the there is this. The background, the guys in the background, the Pips, not Gladys Knight. You know, that's what really makes this go. So that's what you want to do. That's just a little coordination exercise, and that gets you started on the, starting to fill it in and make it sound really nice. Okay, that's your first exercise. I'll see you in the next one.